India. India's stand on Ukraine and the import of Russian oil, what we can look at and say as hunting with the hounds and running with the hares. And that has been a little hot topic, and it's sort of erupted here and there. What is your take on that subject?
Yeah. If you feed the Russian beast, it's going to come get you. This is it. If you continue to underwrite a regime like Putin's, he'll have more resources to continue his onslaught. And if there's one thing that the world, I think, forgets, because we've lived in this post-World War II order, I think the world forgets that you can't satiate folks like Putin. If he were today with a puppet government in Kyiv, I don't think for a moment he'd stop there. And it may not be an invasion of France, but his effort to continue to expand his power in a way that is so indecent and so antithetical to the way that you live your lives here in India and we live our lives in the United States, you have to stop these guys. And so if you're purchasing crude oil from Russia and enriching Vladimir Putin, you are increasing risk that 5 or 10 years from now, the world will be in a more stable, more secure place than it is today. I get it. This is hard. I regret that the United States has shut in its energy. I think if there's one thing the Europeans have learned, it's that you are not going to run the world on sunshine and windmills, at least for the next 20 or 30 or 40 years, that we're going to be using fossil fuels for an awfully long time. And that if you are dependent on a bad guy for your energy supplies, the bad guy will come one day to use that in a way that is to the harm of your own people. And I think it is easy to say, gosh, we need this today. Let's look the other way. Fair enough. There's time sequencing to lots of things. But in the end, if you become dependent on bad guys for things that are really critical to your own nation, someday this will come back and bite you. And the Europeans have seen this. I remember so well. We were in Europe in 2017. I was sitting with President Trump, and we were telling the Europeans, if you keep buying all of your gas from Gazprom, something's going to break. And we did not know when, nor would we have predicted that this is how it would unfold. I don't pretend that we predicted this at all. But we did predict that if you continue to prostrate yourself to the Russians, they will come back and use that leverage someday. And I would urge every nation that's thinking about that to have a pathway that disconnects them from being totally reliant on folks who don't share their understanding of the way the world ought to work.